Hello and welcome. I am Joshy. This is Squirtle. That is Aaron, and we are going to be discussing Endgames. Spoilers ahead. If you don't want to watch this, we have other videos. Go watch them. I will link a video below for Brain Name Games, or a link to Brain Name Games down there, because we are going to be tying this together with that. And here we go. All right, so point one.
Review. So, do you want to go first, Malcolm?
You go first. It's easier that way.
Okay. So, Endgame. It was the last Avenger movie we're going to see for a very long time, at least 4 or 5 years. The movie was just great. I had a lot of fun watching it. I've seen it twice, and it was everything I could have wanted from a final movie of these characters. There was a few times in the movie I was just nodding my head, what's going on here? But overall, it was really great. Every character that either was already built up had a great ending. Just the addition of all of the characters from every movie was so captivating. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time watching it, and I have nothing bad to say about this movie except a few minor points that just were but overall it was a good movie. Everybody needs to see this movie. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
And if you've never watched any Marvel movies, this is not one you just go into. At least read up upon before what's happened at this point, or go watch all 21 movies. That there is a list out there of which ones to watch first, so that way it makes a very understanding, coherent idea of what's going on through the whole thing. Okay, an actual timeline. I liked it a little less than him, but that's because I nitpick a lot of things. I did enjoy it. I had anxiety going through a lot of the movie because I'm like, oh, no, why? Different things. But listening to the people around me cry on certain parts was kind of interesting. There was a lady all the way down at the bottom of the theater. She was bawling her eyes out. You could hear her just, it was so interesting. But it had me a few times, especially, are we going into spoiler territory yet?
Not yet, no.
Not yet? Okay, well, I can't talk about that yet. So I'll let you know here in a minute. But overall, it was a very entertaining movie. I say go watch it if you haven't yet. And if you have, watch it again. Because why not? It was very good. Yes, like he said, there are parts, just like in any movie, that are going to be... What?
Head scratching.
That is going to be you're going to do that to get to this point? Not too much like head scratching, what's going on here? I mean, if you understand time travel or even watched any Doctor Who, you'll understand how this works. Dr. Banner states certain things. We'll get back to that. But, yeah. I give it what I give it the last time, a 9.7. But
I gave it a 9.7, yeah.
Maybe a little bit less than a 9.7. Just because it's not a number 10 movie. I mean, it was still pretty good, though.
Okay. So now, spoilers. Of course, if you haven't seen the movie, stop watching right now. Yeah, big spoiler warning on the screen and everything. Yeah, it's... To dive right into it, the ending, of course, Iron Man sacrifices his life to get rid of Thanos and his army. That was just the most emotional part of the movie. I was crying. I cried. Yeah, I cried. And I think it hurt. It was more emotional because just the characters around him. You had Spider-Man. His mentor was like, "We did it. We won." And he finally got the hug from Tony that he really wanted from his father figure. And he's like, "No, wait, no, I just got back. You can't leave. You just made me an Avenger. Don't leave." And then Pepper Potts finally telling him that he can rest. And even I noticed that from the beginning. She's like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and put this little idea away, but will you be able to rest?" And then at the end of the movie, she's like, "You can rest now."
Yeah, that's called payoff.
Yeah, it was God. It was just the most emotional thing I've ever seen.
That was my favorite part. Again, like in Infinity War, Spider-Man has the best parts in these movies. He honestly does, because through that actor, Tom Holland, you have so much emotion just being conveyed into the scene. You you can't not but cry or even just feel that emotion that he's feeling. It is down to earth how someone would feel if this was happening to them. So yeah, my favorite part was Spider-Man crying his eyes out, and Pepper kind of just letting him, like Pepper letting him have that moment. A lot of times when you see stuff like that, you would have like the significant other like push the person away and be like, no, this is my moment. She let him have that moment because she knew how Tony felt about this kid, as well as how the kid felt about Tony, father-son relationship, and that was amazing to me because I never really had that in my life, but at least Spider-Man did.
Oh God.
But
Yeah. And then next point, Captain America's ending. He finally gets the dance with Peggy Carter that he wanted. Of course, via uh,
time travel.
Yeah. Oh God. Captain America kind of just opened up he made a shit sandwich is what he did. Um, there's so many things like that kind of went wrong. He went and he put the stones back in their respected areas of time or timeline. But there's a few things that are kind of like, well, how does he do that? Like the Soul Stone. How does he get the Soul Stone back? Um,
Well, the Soul Stone, I could understand it being easy. All you do is take it back to the Red Skull, and he pulls it back into himself, and the next person tries to come get it.
Yeah.
That's easy.
And then that too, like with giving the Soul Stone back, Natasha Romanoff, who sacrificed her life to get the Soul Stone the first time, what happens to her? Does she
Right.
stay dead? Like how did that work? I don't know.
See, one of the well, back to this is about Steve Rogers. Back to him.
Yeah.
I feel like his story arc wasn't as well as Iron Man's story arc, because it's basically Iron Man's, all of these movies is his story arc and him ending it at the end. But like Steve, if he goes back in the past, is he technically the, Sharon Carter's great grandpa, or there's this whole other thing, or is it just like the splinter of this universe where the Infinity Stones got destroyed, and he takes them back to this point, and he marries Carter, and then he comes back over to this timeline afterward because time travel and timey-wimey stuff. It's not answered, but that's okay because, they use like 3 different formulas for time travel in this movie, so you got to kind of be okay with the paradoxes and stuff like that are happening.
It's a lot to think about. It's very confusing, but the movie is great. There's it's a decent payoff to him. Like he finally got his dance and everything. And
yeah, he's finally happy.
The woman he loves. Yeah, he's finally happy, and he can rest. He can put his shield down, or at least another spoiler. He passes it to Falcon, and Falcon's the new Captain America. I thought that was cool. Like you were saying, it's comic accurate. It's fan service.
Well, it's fan service more than comic accurate. It is comic accurate, and like I said, I love Anthony Mackie as Falcon, and his character is great, but they could have led up to it better. They didn't really kind of lead up to that at all, like one bit. But just one moment, you're like, oh, here's a shield. It's yours. And even Bucky's like just smiling in the background, like, you got it. You got it, Sam.
Yeah. Well, it seems like he gives him his blessing to take it.
Well, he gives him his blessing and everything, but like, I feel like there's still this whole thing missing in that whole thing, because it doesn't lead up to him giving him a shield. At least in the comic books, there was a lead up to it, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a 3-hour movie. You can't have everything, but it's a 3-hour movie that's lasted 10 years, and you could have at least set it up to that point in those movies beforehand, like they did in everything else. But again, you have different writers, different directors, different ideas. Some things get left out. That might be one of them. On to the future of Marvel. Where do you think it's heading?
Like I was saying right now, we got the Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Ant-Man movie, the next ones. I don't know if Doctor Strange would be a trilogy or Black Panther is going to be. Black Panther probably most likely will be a trilogy. Tom Holland, SpiderMan's going to have a third movie, of course, and then plus whatever Avenger movie is after that, or after those ones. Captain Marvel, of course, is going to have another movie. Eternals looks like the next Marvel's next project.
Well, if it's the Eternals, will probably be part of the Avenger movie, to be honest, because it'll be like all these other ones will tie into it somehow, and then like the new Guardians of the Galaxy might have some Eternals.
Yeah,
what they already did technically, Nowhere is an Eternal, Dead Eternal, right?
Yeah.
So.
Or no, he's a Celestial.
Oh, he's a Celestial. That's right. Whatever, but they already have a Celestial, which the Eternals are part of them anyway, somewhere along the line. If you read a comic book.
Yeah, then Ego was a Celestial too, but he's dead, of course. Yeah, they've already confirmed a lot of movies. Like there was Doctor Strange, what's it called, Iron Man, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Marvel, Eternals. That's already 5 movies right there. Guardians 6.
Right, and they'll probably have another Ant-Man just because.
Oh yeah, and then Ant-Man. That's 7. That's already 7 movies.
Which will probably be setting up like the Young Avengers. I'm guessing that's going to be coming out at some point in the next 3 years, because
3, 4. I think it would be like 4 years or so.
I think it might be a little sooner because they're trying to get a lot of stuff done. You can't really keep beating out DC as well as you can if you don't keep making the stuff to beat them.
Yeah, not only that, Kevin Feige's already went on record saying like if we can make like almost, I think he said like 7 movies a year, that they would do it.
Yeah, and then you have the new X-Men coming out, not the New Mutants, which is coming out in December, but like the X-Men that are going to be part of Disney, Fox, Marvel entity. And then you have also, the Fantastic Four, which hopefully they'll do better as adding them as additional characters, not in their own movie, because I think that's where they do the best. So like when Galactus comes to kill us all, they'll pop up and be like, hey, we have this neutralizer device that will, defeat him, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I don't know how they would do that. Like, I really want to see a good Fantastic Four movie. I don't know how they'll do it. Like, they can have them older or younger, probably a younger group, what they would probably do just to, like, oh, we want these people around for a while. The X-Men, of course, you got Dark Phoenix coming out, but that's pretty much.
Yeah, after that one and the New Mutants, that whole thing is gone. That whole timeline's gone.
Yeah.
Minus maybe like Legion on ABC, I think does Legion, the TV show.
Yeah.
It's a great TV show, but that's going to still be different than everything else. But what I think is going to happen is there's going to be an event, maybe by the snap. It created mutants. I don't know, something like that. Or like you said, the Eternals will come down and create some mutants. Like, who created the... Oh, it was the Kree. The Kree created the Inhumans. So, like, we'll we'll see how that goes. Because right now we don't have mutants in this timeline since they didn't own the rights until like last year. Or yeah.
And then one other thing to take into account too is with the going on with the before we were talking about spoilers, what the Ancient One had said about like getting if you take out the time stone or if you take out the stones in your reality, it'll pretty much open the gate for all sorts of madness to go on, and that's one thing to think about too when you're talking about Galactus is that the our current timeline stones are gone. Thanos destroyed them, even though Steve Rogers went back and put them back wherever. Going into the future, they're gone. They're nowhere to be seen unless they just manifest somehow after being destroyed. I don't know if that probably won't be the case. They'll stay gone, and that's why we're going to need the X-Men and the Fantastic Four to come in so that we have more defenders for this universe, this timeline. And the future of Marvel, of the MCU, looks great. They got a ton of movies coming out. I hope they make Captain Marvel a little bit better. I want to see her be a little bit more emotional and vulnerable and more character driven. I don't want her just to be like the way she is.
The ex machina of Marvel. I'm here to save the day because I'm arrogant.
Pretty much. Like I want to see more emotion for that character. Tom Holland has a great future. I think Marvel's going to keep using him in their movies as long as he still and still wants to do the SpiderMan movies. Yeah.
And then like I said, the Young Avengers will no doubt be put in there at some point. Maybe not in their own movie, but periodically they'll be set up to. I mean, they're already kind of set up. Like Stature, she's Tom. She's Scott Lang's daughter, and then Hawkeye's daughter. So
they could even have Cassie don one of the Ant-Man suits during the next Ant-Man movie.
That is true.
They could do that.
Which I could see them doing that.
Yeah, they could, and she becomes Stature in that movie. That too. The Ant-Man and the Wasp, their character dynamic too it's so great, and I like how Ant-Man was a big part of Endgame. It was like you had this character who was like, yeah, he's really small and stuff like that, but like he's such a big part of the movie. It was nice like having him interact with like Tony and Captain America. It was great.
All right, so what was the next point, Mr. Off Topic?
The ending.
Oh yeah, the ending. So a question. I want you to give them a question out there in Wonderland.
Okay. My question for everybody would be, what was your reaction to Endgame? How did you feel about like just everything that went on throughout the movie, and what are you more excited for the next MCU movies?
And for me, my question to you guys out there is, how did you like Spider-Man? No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I'm a Spider-Man fanatic. So my question is, who would you like to see in the next phase? Yeah.
I like it.
So on that note, we's be out. Laters.